So with Gatland back in charge of Wales, what might Warren Ball Mark II look like? And I thought you were going to score.
Ask a better question, you get a better answer.
Hi guys, welcome back. So what might Warren Gatland do to get Wales World Cup ready? Well, to get them Six Nations ready to start with. I'd love to know your ideas. These are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Now, one thing a lot of coaches do when they come in and things aren't going quite well is they simplify the game plan. Now, Wayne Pivac was certainly getting to a wide type of pattern with Wales in those autumn internationals and getting them into really good positions, but then continuing that handling game in the scoring zones. The player skills broke down. There was too much forcing the pass, the opportunities went missing, so Gatland might definitely try and simplify the game plan in those scoring areas and just try and keep the ball for more phases of play. Now, the second thing I think he definitely will try and do actually is improve the mental toughness. Now, as a new coach coming in, this is maybe a little bit easier because people are maybe a little bit more eager to listen to your message, and certainly him having so much experience might help as well. Now, improving psychology like mental toughness, like concentration, getting rid of complacency. Sure, you could change the players, I guess, but a lot of it comes from the leadership, comes from the top down, and maybe what he might try and do is bring back Alan Wynne-Jones for a final year. I think he's got enough in the tank to see him through to the World Cup, to be the captain again. Now, Alan Wynne-Jones commands a huge amount of respect, and he's not going to be afraid to bang heads together, to get people to focus, to demand what is needed, the concentration that's needed to get over the line in these big matches. So I think maybe we might see Alan Wynne-Jones come back. Let me know what you think. Dan Biggar has been the captain when he comes back from injury. I'm not sure Warren Gatland would want to continue with that. I think he'd just want Biggar to focus on his game. If Alan Wynne-Jones is good enough to be in the team, and certainly in the last game of the autumn internationals, he looked pretty good, maybe that is the way to go. Get him back in there as captain, at least for this year. And one thing that Warren Gatland may well try and do is beef up the team. Wales did struggle up front against New Zealand. Physically, they haven't quite dominated teams, so I think he might try and make some selection changes to that end. So here's a team maybe Warren Gatland might put out. Obviously, this is just speculation, but it's good fun. Let me know what team you think he might put out. But here we go in the front row. I think he'd keep it pretty much the same with Gareth Thomas and Dylan Lewis as the props. 29 years old, 26 years old. They're in their prime. I think they're the best ones they've got at the moment. Let me know what you would do. A hooker, I think he'd stick with the experienced Ken Owens. He wants to create a more mental, tough approach, so maybe he is the guy to go with anyway. He's very reliable. He's got a big work ethic. I don't think he has as much punch physically as maybe he used to, but the heart's there, the experience is there, so I think it's the way to go. Elias is a very reliable backup. Now in the second row, I've obviously mentioned Alan Wynne-Jones is back in my team as captain, and Beard is obviously in there as well, calling the line-outs, being that physical presence. So that's the front five. And in the back row, I think Gatland might make some changes, bring in a bit more physicality, a bit more experience, a hard edge. Maybe Ross Moriarty comes back in, age 28. He's still got plenty to give. Jack Morgan staying in the squad. He played very well in the autumn, but maybe Ross Moriarty might be a way to go. And at 7, maybe a bigger 7, dare I say. Maybe Tipperick goes to the bench in the Gatland team coming on later in the game as it breaks up. And maybe you go for something like a Christ Windsor or a Sam Wainwright maybe at 7, a big 7, a big 6, lots of line-out options as well. And of course Talupe Faletau at 8 because he's still playing great and by far their best 8. It's a bit more of a beefy pack, I think, a bit more experience. And I think maybe that is the way to go. Let me know what you think Gatland will do. At 9, Wales have lots of good options, as they always do. I think Thomas Williams is the best of the lot, but Hardy's good, Blacker's good, Gareth Davis is decent, even Webb's still kicking around. But they've got lots of options at 9, but I think Thomas Williams you stay with. And he's definitely going to want Dan Biggar to get back fit. Obviously without the captaincy in this team, like I mentioned, but him just doing his thing, kicking the goals, being a physical presence as well, making the plays. I think that's the way to go. Costello, probably a bit early for him. Anscombe and Priestland are experienced backups, but I think you really want to get Biggar back in the game. Now in the centres, do you go Warren Ball Mark II and bring in Joe Hawkins at 12 to partner George North at 13, a massive physical centre partnership? Could that be a winning combination? Tompkins is still decent. I don't think he's going to go back to Jonathan Davis. Scott Williams is still around, but maybe a Hawkins-North combination could be a fearsome one that could really compete internationally. And then plenty of speed at the back. I think Adams and Lewis Rees-Zammit definitely stay on the wings. He'll have a word with Lewis Rees-Zammit to keep the errors low, don't force it. Just look to finish and do what you do well. Maybe he won't want to see him at 15. Maybe he wants someone a bit safer at 15. Ideally, Liam Williams comes back fit. On his day, he's a classy player, very reliable. And you've got Halfpenny, maybe McNichol was a reliable backup as well. So maybe that's a team he'd go for, a little bit more physical, a bit more hard edge. What do you guys reckon? So pop all those comments below, pop all those teams below. What will Warren Gatland do? And I'll catch you next time.